Motivation with Amazon Music.
You're still in bed? Didn't you go running?
Oh, I overslept. I'll go tomorrow. I'm getting in the shower.
Alexa, set an alarm for 5 a.m. tomorrow to hard rock music.
Okay, I'm up.
The right song exactly when you need it. Amazon Music, the simplest way to listen to the music you love. New customers start your 30-day free trial at amazonmusic.com. Renews automatically, cancel anytime.
Blog Talk Radio.
Alternative facts.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. At 12:07 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, numerous unidentified objects of unknown intent and unknown origin were detected at high altitudes over multiple locations of Earth's outer space by the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, and these objects are presumed to be some form of controlled aircraft. It is not known if more of these aircraft will arrive, or if they will attempt entering Earth's atmosphere. United States citizens are encouraged to monitor local media outlets, as more updates will follow as information becomes available. The following message is transmitted at the request of the United States government. Attacks by the undead have been reported in several states across the country. The dead are rising from their graves and are attacking the human race. At this time, it is expected that more attacks of this nature will occur in several other states in the next few hours. The intent behind their attack is unknown at this time. He has been observed that a bite or exchange of fluids is a method of transmission. This is an extremely dangerous situation if they crave the taste of human flesh. It is not known whether this event will last for hours, days, or even longer. Stay calm, as authorities have been dispatched to deal with these creatures. An all-clear siren will be sounded when this situation is under control. Pacific Standard Time, nor is detected a long-range nuclear missile launcher. This missile is believed to be headed in the direction of all residents within a 400-mile radius of this area should seek a fallout shelter immediately.
Welcome to Within the Chaos with your host, Rodney Shortridge.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. You can listen in by going to blogtalkradio.com/Within the Chaos, or listen in by phone. You can dial 323-870-4197. And you can also call in to ask questions to our guests at the same number, 323-870-4197. From deep within the heart of the Appalachians, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you all for listening to Within the Chaos. My name is Rodney Shortridge, and I'll be your host tonight. Okay, let's see if you all can hear me now.
I can hear you, Rodney.
Oh, thank goodness it worked. I don't know what is going on with Blog Talk, but I mean, this is 3 shows in a row. The first time it happened with you, then it happened last week with Walter Bosley, and then I'm like, well, let me just restart everything and see how that works. And I'll be damned if it didn't work then. And thank God it worked this time. Lord have mercy. Well, and I got that fixed quick too. I mean, I'm sitting here sweating like click. Oh gosh, please hurry. Well,
yeah, you did good. I thought it was going to take a while, but you did good.
Yeah, finally, the last time I was like 30 minutes into it going, I can't get this to work. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm just going to have to restart my computer about 5 minutes before the show and then let it do. I don't know what's causing the problem. I don't know if it's on my end or Blog Talk, but every time I send them a message about it, they're like, well, it's not us. Of course not.
No, they're not going to take the blame.
Oh, heck no. Well, Rhonda, it's great to have you back on the show. You're becoming to be a regular, even through the problems. Thank you for dealing with me and my. It seems like every time I'm around you or around somewhere where I'm close to you, you're like, why does this guy always have so many problems?
No, I don't. And it's great to be back. I'm glad you're having me back again. I enjoy being on the show, and I enjoy being around you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad to have you back on the show. And I'm glad. I love being around y'all and around you and shoot the shit and always having a good time. So let's see if we can get this going. Can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? And I know we're going to go through some of the same of the questions like we did last time, but considering that it didn't do like it's supposed to, we'll just start over. Tell everyone about what started you on your on this journey to write books and your fantasy books and paranormal books.
Well, I've always been drawn to the paranormal. I started writing books back in 2010. I've always liked to write poems and stuff, and I've always wanted to write a book, and I started a few and just couldn't get into it, and just sitting in the car writer lineup waiting on my youngest daughter, something just hit me. I got a scene, and I started writing it, and it kind of just stayed, and I was up in the middle of the night writing, and all day the next day, and it just went over ahead. It took about 6 months to write the book, the first one, and then it seemed like each one was easier to write. But something just clicked. I don't know what happened, but apparently it was meant to be, and it wasn't meant for me to write any sooner than I started. But that's kind of how it started. It was just kind of strange.
I know everybody keeps telling me, Rod, write a book. I'm like, I can't even spell. How can I write a book?
You can write a book, get a good editor. They can fix the spelling errors.
It'd have to be a real good editor because they'd be looking at it going, what the hell is he trying to say here? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I get my books back from the editor, and it looks like a grade school paper that I've turned in. It's all marked up in red. I get it back, and I almost want to cry. I'm like, I thought this was good.
And see that you got a PhD, and someone like me, I just got a degree in photography. It won't work. I just have to record it and say, hey, you type it. Well, can you tell us what got you interested in the paranormal?
Well, I've always been.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to it. It's I think I've shared this with you before. I know I did on the last show, but my first experience was I heard my name called in the middle of the night. I was 11 years old, and I just knew it was my dad trying to play tricks on me because he's always, doing stuff like that. And when I got up and I was confronting him, there was no one there, so I went to their my mom and dad's bedroom, and my mother said that he's still asleep. Look, so he hadn't stirred. So that was the first thing that really happened to me, and it just seems like after that, it was just more frequent. It's just constant everywhere we've lived. So I've always been surrounded by it and intrigued by it. So and drawn to it, and it just seems like I'm just fate just keeps pulling me to it. To write the books and then the Sneed House, and now with the Gypsy. So I'm always kind of been pulled to it.
Well, how many books have you written?
I think I've written 10 or 11.
And how long did it take you to write that many books?
I've been writing since 2010.
That's pretty good. That's putting them out there.
I was amazed. To be honest.
Well, when you said you had to wait till you just hit the writing, boy, when you hit it, didn't you? Woo.
Yeah, it was like a dam opened. It was just a dam opened and a flood broke loose. I just had so much in me that needed to be written, and I guess, and it was the time to write.
I bet your husband many nights sitting in bed going, honey, aren't you going home to bed?
Yes, he does. You got the computer on again.
Yeah.
Put that pencil up. You're going to poke me in the eye in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you're going to electrocute me while I'm asleep. Oh, have mercy. Well, are any of your books based off of, real people and events, or are they just totally fiction and, fictional characters?
No, the first two were fictional. And then the third and the fourth one, well, loosely based on real characters. It was real events. It was a story about Jack the Ripper. It was a twist on the Jack the Ripper crimes, and then the second one was a sequel to that. The first one was Forbidden Fruit, and then Resurrected. And then I did one called The Music Box Murders, which was based on Lizzie Borden crimes. It was a twist on that. And then most recently, I've written a factual book about Nickerson's Sneed House, and obviously it's all factual.
Mm-hmm. Well, which books that you've written that's your favorites, or your favorite one, the one that you're just like, damn, I'm proud of this one?
I think that would have to be Forbidden Fruit. I think that one turned out really well. That's the one that my husband likes, so apparently it's pretty good because he doesn't like that type of genre, so he enjoyed it. So I guess that's my favorite, I think.
I figured you was going to say you don't read.
No, I read a lot. In fact,
no, I mean, we got to, and I know I'm going to piss some people off when I say this, but we got president don't read, so that's where I was kind of coming with that joke.
I ain't touching that one.
A lot of people out there going, "That's some bitch." Always finds a way to put Donald Trump in there somewhere.
Well, he may not read, but boy, he sure can tweet.
Boy, no kidding. I think that's what I need to do. Tweet my book.
Tweet, yeah.
Well, are there going to be any more books in the future? And if so, what will they be based on?
Yeah, I've got a lot. I call them starts or works in progress. I've got one that I started almost 20 years ago, and it never really went past 3 chapters. So that's why I say I was amazed that I was able to finish one. It's about a woman. It's obviously paranormal. She discovers, it starts out she's in a mental institution. You don't really understand why. And then it circles back around to explain. And she's reincarnated. And she's descended from a line of witches. So the whole thing is telling how she's tormented by demons and not really crazy. So it's called Edge of Insanity. and I really would like to finish that book sometime in the near future. And then I have another one started that is it's a sequel to the Lizzie Borden book, the Music Box Murders. It's a sequel to that. I can't think of anything else right off that I've got in mind. I do need to revise the Nickerson's Neat House book because I've found some more information about the house that was not included in the book. I discovered this after the book was published, so I've got to revise that one. But that's about it for the book work in the near future.
Well, is there any other interest in other types of writing that you may think about doing in the future? Maybe like history or, I don't know, documentary, talk about Donald Trump, you know.
Oh, Lord. No, Rodney, I told you I ain't touching that one.
I'm sorry. I just did one of those Donald Trump moods tonight. I can't help it.
No, I don't think. Well, I do have it's under a pen name, adult books. There's one that's out, one that's getting ready to be released. The pen name is Devereaux, and they are naughty books.
You and naughty books. I remember you talked about this once before on the show, and I mean, every time I see you, I don't know why, but naughty books come into my mind. Is that a bad thing?
Sorry about that.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing because I'm just like, I can't believe that little woman right there writes naughty books. It's in my head, and I'm like, I got to get one of those books, but I'm afraid if I read the book and then when I see you, I'll be like, oh, damn, we got a whole different perspective of our relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Oh, shit.
I'll have to remember the next time you're at the house, I'll have to give you a book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be all. Well, or I'll look at you and just be like a little scared schoolboy, be like, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, raise my hand. Be like, excuse me, you was a naughty, bad teacher. You know, I read that.
Yeah.
Well, could you see any of your books becoming like a series drama for TV or maybe a movie someday?
I would love to see Forbidden Fruit become a movie. We actually had a director looking at it. I'm not sure if that's going to pan out or not, but that's the one I would like to see in film.
Cool. Well, I just lost my place. Well, what do you do when you're not writing? I mean, I know you're busy with the Nickerson's Neat House, but what else do you do? I know you kind of stay really busy.
Yeah, just a little bit. I do have a small press publishing company, Full Moon LLC, Full Moon Publishing LLC. I am publishing, I think, at the moment, 26 authors.
Woo.
Internationally, I have a couple in Australia, have a lady in Canada, and another author in Mexico, and then the rest are in the U.S. That keeps me pretty busy. And then with the Southern Gypsies, and we've got a full plate this year of travel. We're doing Salem Fest the weekend of April the 14th, whatever that is, and then the Dun Laura April 7th. Of course, we've got several events at the Sneed House. We are going to Selma Mansion in Pennsylvania in June, and we're doing Wabacon in July, and sometime or another we're doing Fairy Plantation. So we're pretty booked up in events this year.
You know, we are too, and we just had a meeting last weekend to get all our events and everything straightened out, and I'd be damn if I didn't start getting emails this week of people going, "Hey, would you like to come to our event?" And I'm like, I couldn't tell one guy no because he's a real good friend of mine. He's an honorary member of Black Diamond, and it's down there at oh God, what is it? That college down there in Abilene.
Virginia Highlands. Oh, yeah.
Yep, that one.
Yeah, they're doing. It's new this year, isn't it? Or it's relatively new, isn't it?
Yep, I think this is their first year because Clayton Trout, he's the one that contacted me. Or he's a teacher down there, and he asked me, "Could we go?" And then I sent, I'm serious. It was like Monday, and I sent everybody a message going, "Does anybody want to go with me?" I have one person in the group said, "I'll go."
Well, there'll be two there.
That's right.
At least you're not alone.
Plus, trying to work up something, maybe trying to have us a scare fest or something around here close. And boy, that's a lot of work.
It is. Clayton Trout sent me a friend request, and I didn't know who the heck it was. That's how I discovered about the con, but I had no idea that they were even going to do one. But I think it's really cool.
Oh, I do too. I think it's great, and I'm glad that more areas, places around in our area are doing some of these little cons and little events like that, because I think it's a great draw.
It is. We're surprised at the way people have received our seances and our spiritualist investigations. It's been really well received. We did seance last weekend, or not seance, but gallery reading, and that was really, really well received. But we've already got a huge following, the Southern Gypsies. So, yeah, it's becoming, people are more open to it. They're more interested in it, and I really like that it's becoming more common.
Well, can you tell everyone a little bit about what the Southern Gypsies, what it is, and who's a part of it, and what exactly each person or as a group you all do?
Sure. There's 6 women, myself and my daughter Nikita Caudill, and she does psychometry, which is she can hold an object and tell you about past owners who had it before. She can tell you about that person, and maybe she may receive a message for you from that person if they're deceased. And then we have Holly Mullins, intuitive healer, but she does energy work. And then we have Ashley and Misty Connor, who do tarot cards, and I think Ashley is dabbling in scrying. She's using a crystal ball she's working on scrying. I think she's going to branch off and start doing that. And then we have Kelly Baker, who is our manager, but she also does a little candle magic. But yeah, that's the Southern Gypsies, and we do gallery readings. We do, I guess I should tell you what I do. I do tea leaf readings before you drink tea, and what's left in the bottom, the grounds in the bottom, I'll read the symbols and give you a reading from the symbols. But we travel, we're doing gallery readings, seances, spiritualist investigations, and we're also doing a series called Appalachian Magic. It's being held at the Sneed House, and it's where we teach a little bit about the Appalachian magic, folk magic from the area, which is very interesting.
Well, can you go in a little more detail about each one, what you all do exactly? I mean, you did with the tea leaves, but when you say you all do seances and stuff, and also, I guess, do you think that people now are kind of moving away from more of the paranormal and moving more towards the spiritualist part of, I guess you'd say, the paranormal, but that type of what do you call? What would you call that?
I don't think they're moving. I don't think necessarily people are moving away from paranormal investigations and more toward the spiritual side or spiritualist side. I think it's a different type of people, and they're just now. This is something that's new in the area. We've had so many people come and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know that you guys did stuff like this here. This is great. Nobody ever does this." We've always wanted to come to a seance. We've always wanted to do a spiritualist investigation. We've always wanted to learn about Appalachian folk magic. It's just a different branch of paranormal, and I think it draws a different type of people.
Now, does any of these people, are they interested, or do you have anybody that helps with, say, like folklore and legends of maybe witchcraft or any type of spiritualism in the Appalachian Mountains from the past?
We are teaching a bit about the folk magic, but we don't have anybody to come in and speak. I would love, if anybody knows of anyone that would like to come in and speak at one of our events, I would love to have somebody there who has in-depth knowledge. But we don't have anybody really that has a lot of in-depth knowledge from, the folklore and stuff like that.
That'd be interesting. I'd be like, I'll pony up to come down there and watch that or listen to that. Because I've always. That'd be huge.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah. Yeah, if you can find
you,
somebody, Rodney, send them my way.
Well, I'll get out and start looking and asking too, because I tell you, when it comes to the folklore and because when I was growing up, I heard stories about witches and ghosts and spirits and just all kinds of weird shit. And you just think, well, you're just as you're growing older, you're like, well, I'm a kid, they're just messing with me. And then you talk to some of the older people of Appalachia, and they'll sit there and they tell you straight up, that they knew a witch, or they, bad witch, not a good, not saying anything about the good witches. I'm just, they talk about how, well, my grandpa had a story he told us when we was a kid that there's a witch lived up in the holler from us, and she got mad at him, and she put a curse on his cow where it wouldn't milk no more. So Papa got mad at the cow, went out there and took the two before it hit in the head, and then the witch comes screaming out of the holler with her head busted open and bleeding.
Oh my gosh.
So as you're a kid, you're like, damn.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And and my grandpa was big. He was a big Christian man. So I never known that man to ever lie, and I don't think he would. But it was just one of those, like, did that really happen? And I asked some of my uncles and aunts, and they're like, yep, we seen her come running out of the hall screaming, blood running down the side of her face, right where the cow got hit. It's like, damn.
Oh man, that sounds like a good story. That's the start of a good story. A good book.
You're like, thank you, Rod. I'll pin that on the wall tonight.
Yeah. You'll see that in a book one day, and you'll say, dang, that was my story.
I'll be like, I'm getting some compensation, or at least a free book.
I give you credit. This is credited to and then I'll reference back to the radio show. They'll go back and listen to it in archive.
I'll be like, I got legal action, damn it. I'll be like, see, there goes in with Donald Trump. I do have tape.
Lord.
Boy, this is more like bullshit than a show, don't it?
Yeah. But my grandparents they told me stories about strange things that happened to them when they were younger, when they first got married. And as they got older, not as much happened. I think it was before technology and all the cars and stuff like that, I think it was quieter, and I think people saw more and they heard more because they weren't distracted by all this technology around them. And but my grandmother told me stories when they were little, and then when her and my grandfather were first married. That as they got older and they had kids, they had a few stories when they had kids, but then as the kids got older, their stories stopped. They stopped seeing things and hearing things, and
Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, I just always found it fascinating listening to these old timers, and that's something that I've talked to people in the group about wanting to do, especially with some of the people in the group's family, where they've had paranormal or some type of experience that they they couldn't explain or understand, and I'm like, that'd be a good idea. Just walk around and just record everybody and see what kind of weird ass stories they got.
Yeah, and you're right. The older people, they had a lot. They could tell you a lot, and they had all these superstitions and all these things that they did. But who's to say that they weren't right on the money? But they did. They're really interesting to listen to. I know that my great grandfather's sister, so she would have been my great grandaunt, I guess, but she was a healer. I'm gonna put that in air quotes. She was a healer, and she did spells and stuff. My grandmother, she did table tipping, which we've incorporated that into our spiritualist investigations. Have you ever done table tipping, Rod?
No, I think I know the premise of it, but I've never done it. But for everybody that don't know what that is, can you explain what it is?
Yeah, it's interesting. Works kind of like a Ouija board, only it's a table that rocks back and forth rather than the pointer moving on a board. You put your hands on the table and ask questions, and the table will tip back and forth. It'll rock on its legs back and forth to give yes and no answers.
Now, will that work? I mean, does the table have to be, like a lightweight table, or can you even use like a heavyweight table?
It needs to be a small, lightweight table.
Oh, okay. Well, what about the mirror? I know last time we was down there, I seen the mirror, and Robin was saying something, but I was still kind of in that daze where I just got out of the hospital a week earlier. And can you explain what y'all do with the mirror?
Mm-hmm. The mirror is painted black, so you use it like a crystal ball. You scry in it and get images to tell people's future.
Oh,
Cool. It
cool.
works just like a crystal ball. I didn't realize. I knew you could use the ball and water, but I'm new to the mirror, but I like the mirror.
Now, which one of you all uses the mirror?
I use the mirror, but Ashley uses a crystal ball.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know that because, like I said, Robin was saying something to me about it, and I'm like, that sounds cool. But then by the time I got home, I'm like, what the hell did she say to me?
You're lipping on your meds.
I've been on some serious meds. Thank goodness I finally got off of them. Now I'm feeling a lot better. But
well, I'm glad to hear you feeling better.
Well, I don't know if you know. Did I tell you about what I experienced where I was like out of it for like 3 days and didn't even know I was on a planet?
About your dad. You told me about your dad, but that's about the only thing, and that you couldn't really remember a lot.
I could, like I said, I just had little flashes of a few things that was going on, and like I told you, it was like, I guess it was when I was at that point where, I guess where I was dying or my brain was preparing me to die, but I seen nothing but white. Most people say they see a tunnel with a white light at the end. No, I just see nothing but just everything white. And it's like I could feel Dad and I could smell Dad. And it was like I was looking for him, but I wasn't speaking, but I couldn't find him. But I did see another image that came to me. I seen a woman with long black hair, and her hair turned into like wings, like these black and blue wings. Now, does that mean anything? I mean, you're more into the spiritual side of stuff. Does that sound like I'm like crazy and with some serious high or some serious dead?
If you were, I'd like to have some of what you had. No, I guess the white light's better than being black, because it sounds like you were on the right track. I would think, I've heard that you think about angels having white wings, but they don't always. Their wings can be different colors. They can have black wings. Yeah, it sounds to me like you were having an out-of-body experience, like you were right tiptoeing on the edge.
I was having something, because it was, and it's something that I can remember that so vivid, but I can't remember those from Friday night until Tuesday morning. I can't, just like I said, just little flashes, a few things, but I can remember that real well, and that's kind of. Some people's like, well, has that made you more of a spiritual person? I'm like, no, it just makes me question things even more.
Uh-huh.
Well, speaking of talking about history and stuff, can you give everybody, the history of the Nickerson-Snead home? I know you said you found some more information and history about it.
Sure. The house, the log cabin part, was built by Francis Kincannon in the mid-1700s. He came here from, I think, Ireland or England. I think it was Ireland descent. And he had a fort there during the French and Indian War and the Revolutionary War. And when he passed away, the land passed hands from his son and his brother to they sold off parcels to other people, 5 other people. Nickerson-Snead ended up with 3 of those parcels. And he built the house around the 2-room log cabin in 1835. And I could not find anything that would explain why he built the house around the cabin instead of, building it, from scratch and leaving the cabin or tearing it down. But he decided to build the house around the cabin. Dr. Snead was on the first board of trustees at Emory and Henry College. He was instrumental in getting the railroad brought into Glade Spring, and he opened the first mercantile in Glade Spring. He owned, when he married Betsy Elizabeth Scott, which is Betsy Snead now, she brought with her from a previous marriage most of Glade Spring. That was what she inherited from when her husband died. So they owned pretty much all the Glade between them. But they were both postmasters in Glade from 1837 to 1841. And he was a Civil War doctor, and the house was a makeshift, it was a field hospital during the Civil War. And the basement was used as a morgue during the winter months. When they passed, the Mason family purchased it, William B. Mason, and they had 2 children that died in the house, Josephine and Douglas. And Josephine died from diphtheria at age 10, and Douglas died at age 8. He was kicked in the head by a horse. And Betsy Snead and the Mason children are still, Betsy is seen in the house. The kids are heard, and they like to play tricks. They move things on you. So that's very annoying when you're trying to work and you can't find things you're working with, because I like to move them. Or keys. They moved my keys. But when the Mason family sold the house, they owned it from the late 1880s to the late 1980s. Emil and Angela Walrus bought it, and they had a bed and breakfast there. the Swiss Inn Bed and Breakfast, and they had some experiences. People would come in to see the lady in blue, and they would think she was a seating hostess, but would complain because she just ignored them. And when they complained to management, they'd say, "There's nobody here with that description," or, that there's no women working tonight. That it was Betsy Sneed, and we've had a couple of our scare actors during the haunted house actually see Betsy, and she's been seen from the windows of the house too. But we purchased the house in 2004, and we've had a lot of experiences there. The tornado of 2011 came through and did a lot of damage to the house, and when it ripped the roof off, and when the roof was gone and the house was kind of open exposed, it was really light and airy, and nothing happened. There was no activity at all. But as soon as they got the roof back under, got the roof back up, and the house was covered again, the activity was more frequent and stronger than it had been before. So I don't know what the deal is with that. It was really weird. But we've owned it since 2004, and we do events there, have a haunted house in the fall, of course, paranormal investigations, and that's about it. Now, you've been there several times.
Oh yes, I love your home. It's one, it's a beautiful home, and two, with the events and experiences that I've had, and other people in the group have, it's just made it's a paranormal hotspot. It really is. What about the history of the events and the experiences, paranormal experiences that people like we have and other groups and people have had within the house, like where we got something in the hallway, a really good EVP, and where I saw the light come down the steps. What other events and history can tie in together with the paranormal with the house?
Well, we've had during the haunted house, the room with the kids' room with the big cedar closets. I had a scare actor in there the first year we had the haunt, and I kept hearing a kid giggle, and he would open the door because he thought people were coming through because he was hiding in the closet and nobody was there. So he cut his recorder on his phone and got a little girl giggling beside of him. She was giggling. So I guess she thought it was fun to play hide and seek and jump out and scare people. But I think that was Josephine. Most recently, if anybody's been watching the Sneed House page, we had a group come through that caught a reflection of a woman sitting on the edge of the bed upstairs in the room beside the red room. It looks like she's brushing her hair, and there was nobody there fitting that description. I know the people that were there. I let them in. I talked to them. They're really close friends of mine. One of them, two of them are cousins, and it's just really creepy watching that because it's not them, and you actually see something actually moving. It's not a still shot. It's not a voice on a recorder. It's actually something there on film moving. And we got Scarlett McCready and myself were there a few years ago, staying all night, and we were in that long kitchen area in the back and heard the back door open and shut. And somebody, it sounded like they were stepping and dragging a leg. They would step and then drag their leg. And we heard a man, but we couldn't distinguish what he said, just a mumble. But Scarlett actually got, because we were doing pendulum session, so she had the recorder going, and she actually got the door open and shut and his footsteps, but we didn't get his voice. So that was really kind of creepy. But and people have seen doppelgangers, they've seen shadow figures, there's been disembodied voices, been touching, you name it, and it's happened. Any kind of phenomenon you can think of, it's happened there. And I think one reason the house is really that active is because it is, one, it has had a lot of trauma there. There's been a lot of loss. Of course, the Sneeds died there. Some of the Mason family died there. You got all the Civil War soldiers who retreated, and some died there. Revolutionary War soldiers and the French and Indian War soldiers. You've got, of course, the Route 11 there was a trade route for the Indians, and before the house was ever built. But also, there's the, if you believe it, there's the crossroads right there at the house. The Sneeds, the Masons, and the Kincannons are buried across the road in the cemetery. I know Robin went down there. I left before she got back. So I don't know if she found their graves or not. But also we have the house is built on a limestone foundation. And there is a well house, a spring house, at the foot of the drive there. So there's water right there at the house, and there are ley lines between the house and the interstate. So anything you could ask for to make a haunted location, the house has it.
Boy, you ain't a kidding. Well, do you have, as far as the groups that came in, and you personally or any other people that have been in the home, have they got any photos or audio or video that is just you've seen and you're just like, damn, wow.
The video that I was telling you about with the reflection of the woman in the mirror, that one really just blew my mind. But you guys got a lot of audio that just, I couldn't believe how much you guys got in that one night. I guess it was the first time you guys came out.
Yeah.
I've posted some pictures recently that were really creepy that we got. And during the seances, we've had a lot of crazy things happen. The bells on the doors ring. Did they ring for you guys that night that you were there last?
No, when we was down there last night, only thing that told to me, about 3 people that were upstairs, they said that they all 3 heard a little girl giggle. So they tried to search and see if they could find, make sure they went, because it was apparently pretty loud, and they were all trying to search to see if someone was in the house to make sure that there wasn't nobody there, and they couldn't find anything.
Wow. So she was having fun. She was having fun with you guys that night.
Hey, as high as I was, it wouldn't take much.
No, we've gotten a lot of video footage. We've gotten a couple of videos, but we've gotten a lot of photos, tons and tons of EVPs, and a lot of personal experiences. So I think every time a group comes, they have some kind of experience.
Oh, yeah, if they don't, something's wrong.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, because that place is just loaded, just ready to show you something. Well, I know you visited, many haunted locations because you do a lot of traveling. Have you had any personal paranormal experiences at any of these locations?
Not really. We visited the Winchester House, and just an eerie feeling of somebody being around you, but nothing real. No voices, hadn't seen anything or gotten any pictures or anything. But did go to Half Moon Bay Distillery in Half Moon Bay in California, and there was the bathrooms are in the basement. That was creepy. It felt like somebody was in that bathroom the whole time I was down there, but I was alone. That was one of the creepiest locations I've been in. But no, not real. Well, yeah, I think, let's see, we went to the St. Augustine Lighthouse and heard heard something that we couldn't explain. It was like a thud. But no, I haven't really. I guess if you're looking for it, that's when it doesn't happen. You just have to be kind of hanging out, and that's when you experience things.
Yep, that's one of the things with us during our investigations. You know, we spend the first couple, 2-3 hours looking, and then everybody kind of gets to that, like, well, we ain't got nothing going on. But when you're just sitting there shooting the shit and talking about everyday life, taking pictures, just sitting there, or, you know, and then when you bring everything back and you listen to it and look at the videos and the pictures, you're like, oh my God, you know, while you were sitting there talking, you know, all this was happening.
Yeah, that's when it happens.
Well, you know, have you ever at the house been, you know, physically or emotionally or spiritually attacked, you know, by something you haven't seen? If you have, can you explain that experience?
No, not really. I just get a really creepy feeling sometimes that I work there a lot alone, and most of the time I'm okay with it. But there's just sometimes it's just too creepy. It's just like, no, there's something that don't want me here. I did go out. The most recent thing that's happened is my sister works up there with me, and she won't cut the lights out in the basement if it's dark. And so this one evening she said, it's raining, it's dreary. Are you going to come back by the house? And I said, well, I can if you want me to cut the lights out, because, you know, you have to go in the basement and throw the breakers where the morgue used to be. So I stopped by and I cut the lights off, and everything felt good. And I was talking out loud to myself. I was complaining, I don't know why she can't cut the lights off. There's nothing here. It feels good this evening. And I got almost to the front door and past the gift shop, and there was something standing in that threshold. And I did not turn to see exactly what it was. The only thing I know, it was taller than I was. It was dark. It was a humanoid figure, but it was really tall. I bolted out the front door. I almost left the front door unlocked because I couldn't get the key in the lock. I was shaking so bad. But I've heard furniture turn over in the house. It's really freaked me out. It's so bad that I've left the house. And I did in that room where you guys set up in the room we do the seances. A few months back, we were doing some work in that area, and it was doing that real cold snap, and we just could not get the house warm. So we shut the doors to that room, and I think I shared with you the door. We had the chair behind, and the chair just, you know, the door just flew open, and the chair slid across the room. That was one of those days I just left. I just feel really unwanted sometimes, but never physically attacked or anything.
Sometimes they just tell you, get the hell out.
Yeah, sometimes they're like, we've had enough of you, go home. So I oblige them. I just go.
Okay.
Sometimes I cut the lights out, and sometimes I just leave them like they are.
Well, what is your opinion on what a ghost could be? I know I have my opinions about it, but what's your opinion?
I honestly think that sometimes it's residual. There is a man that I see at the house. He walks past one of those interior windows. He never notices I'm there, and he looks like he's just on a mission to do something. And it's the same action every time. And we hear pacing upstairs, and it's the same thing, you know, back and forth, back and forth. I think those are residual. But then I think there's also intelligent hauntings where there's spirits of somebody that's been there before, and they're just not ready to give up the place like that. I think she's still there. I don't think she's ready to give up her house. And I'll come in and I'll say, hello, Betsy, I'm here. And when I leave, I'll say, I'll see you next time, Betsy. But I acknowledge that she's there. She's still taking care of her house. And then, I don't know. I think there's other things, too, that we just don't know what they are, and we just classify them as ghosts because we just don't know.
Well, that's true. And especially, where the house is on ley lines, the crossroads. and limestone and just all this. Do you think that it's possible that it might be some kind of portal that might be opened up, not so much into the spiritual world, but maybe into I know this, a lot of people think I'm crazy when I say this, but like maybe a parallel universe to where we're hearing and seeing things that might not be spiritual, but it's something else, like you said.
That's distinctly possible. I mean, I'm open to anything. And I do believe there are parallel universes. I don't think we're on just one plane. I think there's multiple planes. I just think it makes my mind hurt to try to think about it. But, yeah, anything's possible, and I think that's a good theory.
Well, I know it's one that a lot of people in the group, they're more spiritual, and I look at it more of, what if this is something else? The residual, I can understand. Spiritual, but what if this is something else? What if it is a parallel universe or some kind of vortex or something that's opened up to where we can hear another side and they can hear us? Are we ghosts to them too?
Yeah, I guess so. So maybe I'm freaking them out as much as they're freaking me out.
Yeah. They're running too. They're like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that crazy woman's back here. We're going to leave.
Now, for the spiritual people, why do you have opinion on why you think spirits still linger and not move on?
I think sometimes they have unresolved issues, and sometimes they don't know they're gone. Like the case of the kids, they may not realize they passed on because they're so young. With Betsy, I think she just stayed there to take care of her house. I don't think she was ready to leave. Some people are afraid to move on.
Well, that's true. Well, are there any people in the paranormal world that that has influenced the way you look at the paranormal world now compared to when you first started getting into it? And who might be these people, and how did they influence you? Oh
my gosh, that was going to take a few minutes to think about. There's so many people that I admire that's in the paranormal field. And I know this is cliche because it's so old, the show, but Ghost Hunters is what really, I really admired them because they tried to debunk everything, but then, and they wouldn't say something was haunted. They would say it was active or something unless they really knew. So I admire their professionalism, the way they went about it, Jason and Grant. But I really don't give any. I just watch so many of the shows, and really there's small things about all of them that I like, and then there's some things about them that about all these people that I'm thinking, are they just sellouts? Some things they say that I'm just like, no, this is sensationalized for TV. I guess I would have to say probably that someone who's really influenced me from early on, from probably 15 or 20 years ago would be, or even earlier, would be Lorraine and Ed Warren. Their research that they did, especially with the Amityville. We went to New York City and stayed a few years ago, went out of our way, 45 minutes or an hour out of the way to drive by the house. We stopped at the Amityville house and then drove back, about an hour to get back to New York. But I would say Ed and Lorraine Warren would be someone or two people who've really influenced my views on the paranormal.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as Ed and Lorraine, I've read a lot about them and studied them, and I kind of got mixed feelings about them because I know that they kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of paranormal groups today, and I'll say the majority. But from what I've read and what I understand, they wasn't on the up and up on a lot of the stuff that they were doing. So,
that's what I was saying. With all these groups, all these people have talents and they all have good views, but then they sensationalize, kind of sell out just to get, the publicity. And they're all like that. Everyone I think that I've come across, but I just try to pick what I can from them that I think is good, and just try to throw the other to the side. And just try to take the best of what I can and hold on to that and learn from that. But you're right.
Well, I'm like you. I try to take the good that they start with, but as you said, when they sell, I guess you could say sell out or just blow everything out of proportion. It kind of gives you a different take for them, and then that's when you look at other groups and other people in the paranormal, and you look at them, and you're just like, are you the same damn way? Because I've been doing this. It'd be 10 years in August, and I ain't changed a bit. I wouldn't sell out. I know when we did the shows on my ghost story, I've told this story 100 times to people that they wanted me to say things that wasn't true and didn't happen, and I wouldn't do it. I actually took my mic off and walked out. And I told him, I said, just give me my damn gas money. I'm going back to Virginia. I ain't selling out to nobody. And the director, the producer came out there and they, well, come on, we'll do it your way. But I've seen so many other people that were going in because, they were constantly filming. And I've seen other people going in, and I know damn well that they were selling out because they'd tell us one thing, and then when I watched the show, they said a completely different thing.
Right. They got us sensationalized to sell the ad space and keep the show on. So, that's what they do, and I don't want to be that person. And, the groups that have come into our place have all been really reputable. You guys, and then we've had Bedford Paranormal come in. I can't even tell you the number of groups that have come in. Some of them's in the book, so you can look that up and see how many come in. But a few, but yeah, everybody that's come to the house has been very reputable, on the up and up, and they don't have any sensational to hand over to me. So I'm like, is this for real? So I know what they found is on the up and up. They've not, blown things out of proportion.
And that's good because it's really hard to operate a group when you have so many groups that are around you that are doing the sensationalism and blowing shit out of proportion. And then when you do go into somebody's home that, let's say they had someone else there, then you're sitting there and they're like, well, that's not what the other team got. They got this, this, and this. And you're like, well, this is what we got. Sorry.
Right.
I'm not blowing it up for you. Where do you think the paranormal and the supernatural world is heading?
What do you mean?
Like the future of the paranormal world.
Oh no, Rodney, you're breaking up again.
Oh no, please, not now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I got you back.
Okay. Like the future as far as paranormal investigators, paranormal teams. Where do you think they're heading? And like with the supernatural, the stuff that you ladies are doing, I know that people around here took a huge interest in it, and that's great. But what do you think the future of all this is going to go?
I don't know. The field seems to be growing, but I think it may. Spiritualism is starting to make a little bit of a comeback. So I don't know if that's gonna be a big thing again, like it was in the early 1900s. But I don't think paranormal field's going anywhere. I think it's just going to grow.
Mm-hmm. I think it has its ups and downs. I've noticed in the 10 years that we've been doing it, when I first started, it was blowing up, and then, past few years, it's kind of weighing down. But I can see why, because, like with my group, it's so hard to get everybody together to get the audio and video and photos done. And with my, especially now with me having that episode, it takes me months to try to cover a case, and 9 times out of 10, I'm getting 140 hours or 160 hours of all that together. That's a long time, especially when you're trying to mow yards and raise a garden and watch your grandkids and all that stuff too.
Yeah,
so
it is.
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
With the local groups, they've all got other jobs, so it's really hard. I can see it's really hard for them to be able to, one, schedule time to do investigations, and two, go over the evidence.
Mm-hmm. I know that's been our problem here for the past couple of years, and hopefully I've got that problem worked out. I kind of laid the hammer down on Sunday, and I told them, either you're going to do it or get the hell out. I mean,
that's the only way to be.
I mean, if I'm going to do it all by myself, shit, get the hell out. I'll do it all by myself.
Right.
I know how to set up the cameras. I know I'm the one telling everybody how to do it.
You broke up on me.
I said, what is your opinion about people with psychic abilities? Have you ever worked with anyone that claims to have psychic abilities, and have they ever helped you with any information about the home?
There are, with our seances, we're all intuitive and, psychic. So with the seances, we've been able to get some information about the house through that. We've also, there are people who, it's just like the paranormal field. There are people who are on the up and up. There are people that have gifts that they're also want to sensationalize and make it seem like it's more than what it is. And then, of course, you have people who don't have a gift at all, and they're just bullshit. And it's the same as the paranormal field. But when we do, we'll do private seances when we're there, the Southern Gypsies, and we've been able to contact people, within the house, Betsy and we think we've contacted Dr. Sneed, but can't be sure on that one.
Well, I know you mentioned, me having an out-of-body experience possibly. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience or astral projected? And if so, can you explain, what happened and how it affected you?
I have not, actually. Astral projecting would be fun, though, but no, I've never had an out-of-body experience.
I'll tell you what, you don't want one. I know people say that shit's cool as hell. No, it is not.
Maybe if it's controlled.
Yeah, if it's controlled, I guess so. But damn, if that's what I went through, no, it is not cool at all. Yeah, I can tell you, you're not scared. You're not. It's just you don't even realize what it's kind of like you just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, what the hell is this? It's what? It's more of a, I can't believe this is happening. So, what is your opinion about the afterlife? What do you think happens once you die?
I think that I'm a big believer in reincarnation, and I really think that you have the choice to come back and and try to make things right until you get things like it's supposed to be. I think I'm a big believer in karma and dharma, and I believe what you do here, you get back 3 times, whether it's good or bad. And I believe that the afterlife, if you've not done what you need to do, then you're going to have to come back and start over and try to get it right the second time around.
Okay, now what happens when you do get it right? What happens then?
Then I think you ascend on to something more. And beyond that, I'm not sure. I do believe there's something else out there. I'm not too sure about a God like we typically believe in. But I think there's something more, but I just don't know what.
Okay. Well, I know that you all use Ouija boards when you all do your all's events, right?
Mhm.
Well, I know Ouija boards. A lot of people in paranormal like they'll never use one, and they open up doorways you can't shut, and you got to have experienced people. Which I don't know no one that really is experienced of using a Ouija board. But what are your thoughts on Ouija boards? Do you have any people come in that are negative about it or positive about it, or what's your take on it?
Well, most everybody that's come in has been like, ooh, that's scary. And then when, I explain to them, well, no, it's not really. It's the same as using a pendulum or dowsing rods or a recorder. You're asking questions and getting answers. It's just a different way. I've been using one since I was 19 and have had no bad things happen, no ill effects from it. If you use it wisely, it's a good tool to have and to utilize. But it's just like using an EVP recorder or a set of dowsing rods or a pendulum. You're asking questions and receiving answers.
Now, how does dowsing rods work when, from what I understand, because of the limestone, wouldn't that cause the dowsing rods not to work in the home?
No, they actually work really well. You can, when you ask a question, they usually cross for no, or cross for yes and open for no. Or they'll, they can be the opposite. It's just however you want to use it. You just explain, how you will just say, please cross for yes or open for no, or, please open for yes and cross for no. But they work really well in the house.
Okay. Is there an underground spring by the house? I know you said that there's a spring. Is it underground or above ground?
I think it's underground because there's no above ground water that I can see. But there is a spring house at the foot of the hill, so I'm pretty sure it's underground.
Yeah. Well, what's your opinion about demons? I know a lot of people that's in the paranormal have different thoughts, and what's yours?
I'm sure they're out there. I'm not going to say they're not, but I've never run across one. I've had people say there are some in the house, but I just don't. Like I said, I've never run across anything like that. So I don't know about that one. I'm a little bit skeptical, but...
Yeah, I have to agree with you because, like I said, we've been doing this for 10 years, and I know a couple of places these people talk that they had demons, and those were the most quietest houses we've been. And I'm like, if there ain't any demons in here, they sure the hell don't want to mess with us, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it is. Y'all were too mean. They didn't want to come out for you.
I think I proved that down there, and I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, people don't know. There's a guy that was down there when we went to the last investigation at her house. And there's a way I normally, when I meet somebody for the first time, I jokingly say, who the fuck are you? Most of the time, and, in a joking way. Well, this guy got in my face, and, he's like, who the fuck are you? And then I'm like, it ain't none of your fucking business. And he got nose to chest on me, and I told him to back up. He went back up, so I shoved him back. I'm like, you ain't fucking with me. I'll throw you out that damn door.
Yeah, I'm in the kitchen. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I'd just hang back there until it was all over.
I mean, I got mean, but it felt like he was, challenging me, and and he's a young kid, and I'm an old man that just come out of the hospital, and high as a kite on medication, and I'm about ready to throw down, and it's one of the other guys. He brought him there, and I didn't know, and he took him out and made him leave, and I seen Ronda in the back, and I'm like, oh shit. Let me go back here. Let me go back here and explain myself. And I apologize and everything, but I when it comes up to people I don't know that that comes up at me like that, you're going to get, I will push back. I will. I'm not putting up with that. I'm not having nobody take a chance on hurting anybody in the group or hurt anybody's property we're on. And I was kind of embarrassed when I seen Ronda. I'm like, well, shit, everybody around here knows I have a temper. Now she knows.
Now I know.
But you got to admit, I wouldn't let nobody hurt your home.
No, this is true. Well, it's better to be safe, too. You don't want anybody in there that's going to, like I said, jeopardize the investigation or, risk somebody getting hurt or mess up the equipment or whatever. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, you do. And especially if somebody's challenging me, then if they're going to challenge me, what are they going to do to someone else in the group with my back turned,
Right.
So, yeah, that was a good thing to get him out.
Yeah.
Well, have you experienced anything other than the paranormal, such as crypto, zoology, or any UFO encounters?
No, not really.
Well,
I think it's whatever you're open to. Sorry, Rodney. I think it's what you're open to is what you're going to experience, what's going to come to you.
No, that's true. Because a lot of times when I ask this question to a guest, and they're like, I can't believe you asked that. Well, about 5 years ago, there's these bright lights over my house and beams of, lasers, and I'm like, damn, you really was on some serious shrooms.
No, I don't doubt it. I just haven't experienced it.
Oh, you probably will. Seeing how you're sitting on a hot spot, you're going to experience probably something you're going to be sitting there going, I don't know who to call for this.
Hey, I'll be calling you. Rodney, there's something weird going on here at this house. Maybe you should come out and investigate.
Yeah, that's when I'll probably have to make a phone call and be like, hey, such and such has been on my show. She's had this happen. Come out here and show me how to deal with this.
Yeah.
Well, I won't keep you too much longer. So, how supportive is your family with your work, with how busy you stay, and with the writing and the publishing and all the events and the gypsy thing now?
Really, they're very supportive. My husband doesn't get to be that involved with it, but he's very supportive of it. Especially the haunted house. He loves the haunted house part. He's excited about the Southern Gypsies. My youngest daughter is one of the Southern Gypsies. My oldest daughter works actually for us at the Sneed House. She helps us with the promotions and stuff for the haunted house and for the other events we have. And then my brothers help in the haunted house and help build out. My sister works there as well. And actually, my mother and father helped out in the haunted house this past year. So everybody's very supportive of everything that goes on up there. Wow.
That's great. When you have a family support system or friends and family, whoever, that it always helps make everything so much easier.
It does. It really lightens the load.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about that, but I'm just sitting here sounding like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, which I have no idea what I'm talking about. Well, what do you do when you're not so busy? I mean, I know they got to be something you do to kick back, a little Chardonnay or a little something.
A little. A lot. No, I like to sketch. I love to paint and sketch. I read a lot. And I like to get away when I can. Actually, I'm in Asheville right now. My husband and I took a little 2-day getaway to Asheville just to get out for a couple of days. But we like to travel when we can. But there's really not a lot of downtime.
Now, did I not see a photo that you posted up not too long ago where you were in Alaska in the wintertime?
Oh, yeah.
Did you say something that no one in Alaska, and I'm thinking, no shit, it's wintertime.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah. Yeah, I was there with my husband back in February. Actually spent Valentine's Day there. It was pretty. He's actually taking a job there, so I'll be traveling to Alaska quite a bit the next couple of years.
Ugh. It's fine in the summertime, but wintertime, birds, too cold. Oh, Lord.
It was cold.
That'll freeze your nipplers off. Can't handle that.
Yeah. It will.
So what's your plans for the rest of 2018? I know you kind of gave us a rundown throughout the show, but anyhow, I'm getting ready to wrap this up on you and let you get back to your hubby.
Well, I'm publishing several books this year for other authors. I hope to get one of my own out. It's my writing's kind of taking the back burner. Southern Gypsies will be in Dunlora and Salem Fest, Salem, Massachusetts in April. We'll be at the Sneed House in May several times. We're going to Wabacon and Ferry Plantation, and then in June, Selma Mansion in Pennsylvania. The Sneed House has several events coming up. They just people need to keep an eye on the page because there's just so many I can't think of right offhand. But the big one is the Haunted House this fall. It starts the third week in September and we'll wrap it up the first weekend in November. I'm really excited. We're already drawing up plans for that. And like I said, I'll be making several trips to Alaska this year.
Well, at least it's warm. Well, it won't warm up for another, 2-3 months, but at least it will be. Next year, we'll show a picture. Look, it's actually got green grass up here.
Yeah, they said it was actually really plush. It looked kind of like a jungle. It was really beautiful in the summer, so I'm excited to see that.
You be up there, mosquitoes so big it'll pack you away.
Yeah, they carry me off.
But like, look, this is a picture of a whole new way of the whole area at one time. What do you have? I know you mentioned. I think you said a website, and I think you got a I know you got a Facebook page. I don't know what I'm saying, but a Facebook page where people can contact you if they got anything they want to talk to you about, or any want to get a copy of your books or anything. Right.
Yeah. They can check me out on fullmoonpublishingllc.com, or they can go to, for the books, they can find me at the Nickerson Sneed House .com, and of course Nickerson Sneed House and Full Moon both have Facebook pages, as well as I do, and with Sneed House, you keep up with the events more so on Facebook than the website, because we're constantly posting on Facebook. Also, the Gypsies, Southern Gypsies, has a Facebook page right now. We're working on the website, but you can find my books on Amazon, Books A Million, and Barnes & Noble. Or if you drop by the Nickerson Sneed House, I got them in the shop there.
Okay. Is there anything that that you'd like for listeners to know about that I didn't cover or didn't mention, or just plainly forgot.
I think you did good. I think you covered it all.
Oh, yay! I finally got one right.
Hey, we made it through without losing the connection.
No, just a couple, Rod. I can't hear you.
That's all right. We got through it.
We got through it. Yay! Well, Rhonda, I appreciate you coming back on the show. Like I said, I love y'all to death. Y'all been great to us, and look forward to seeing y'all in May. And if there's anything else you need or anything you want, just give us a holler. And thank you so much for coming on the show and taking the time out.
Thanks, Rodney, for having me back, and I cannot wait to see you guys back in May. Looking forward to it, and I hope we have a good turnout.
Oh, I do too, because past two's kind of worried me.
Yeah, it's kind of hit and miss with that place.
I was kind of like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Apparently, I just, maybe it's the drugs or something. I don't know.
It could be.
Well, Rhonda, I appreciate it again. You have a good night. Tell your husband I said howdy, and for him to have a good night too.
I will. Thanks, Rodney.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for us tonight. I want to thank Ronda Caudill for coming on the show. Thank everyone who took the time to listen in. I'd like to give a big shout out to the Vibe Network and to Ryan for putting up with us. Well, I guess me tonight. Also to the first responders and our men and women in armed services, thank you for your service and the sacrifices you and your families make every day for our great nation. I would tell you who we got on for next weekend, but I don't have it in front of me, so I apologize. But I will be posting it on Facebook like I always do. So tune in to next weekend, next Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everyone can go to our Facebook page Within the Chaos, and don't forget to like our page if you don't mind. To see upcoming guests along with past shows, postings, and you can go to my website at www.blackdiamondps.org, or let me turn the page, or blogtalkradio.com/Within the Chaos. You'd think I'd know this shit by now. Also, I have a YouTube channel up, so you all can go to our YouTube channel, look us up Within the Chaos for past shows. Thanks again. Until next week, everyone have a safe weekend and have a good night. Now, let's see what the hell I'm going to play. Wasteland. I like this.
Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Oh, what a great audience. Let's dim the lights for this next one. Nope, too much. There it is. Gotta get things just right. Like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay, and we help you find coverage options that fit your budget. And now, the mood is right. Wait, the lights are back on again. Trudy, can you? And now it's completely dark.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.